What's up, everyone? It's D Bailey here again. Another video. I think I told you guys I will be pushing out a substantial amount of content this weekend. I'm here at the at a property, and just doing some thinking about where things are headed, economy, population density, inflation, things as such. And I know there are a lot of people that are hurting. There are a lot of people that will be hurting unnecessarily, in my opinion. Those of you that know who I am, know in my background, I'm a real estate broker, developer, community builder, and I do it not to hoard, not to for the sake of just earning money. I do it out of passion. I do it out of trade. Again, I have a degree in political science. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, so public service has always been something that I value. I'm from the inner city. All right, I'm from Decatur, Georgia. I was raised by a single mother, and it's always been something that I found interest in. Even as we moved around as a child, we rented properties, and I've always had this curiosity about the person that actually owned the property that we lived in. They were never there. For example, there would be a shed in the backyard that we weren't allowed to open up, and that was that sparked a curiosity that most people probably wouldn't even worry about. I recall as a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old, I was the one that always wanted to cut the grass. I was the one that wanted to plant grass in the space where that was red dirt, that was gaps, that were rocks in the yard. And I've always leaned towards or found a interest in that person in the neighborhood that that owned their property, that you could always tell that they own their property. More than likely it was I recall a single man driving a sports car. His lawn was like well kept, and he had what I know today to be pride and ownership. And that brings me to where I am today. It kind of explains a lot of the things that I've done, that I've accomplished, and that I want to accomplish. As I drive, I own a property in a small town near college, near college campus. Rich in history, rich in culture. Nevertheless, I find myself driving through neighborhoods that predominantly black. You'll find 1 or 2 white people there, and I say that for context only. You'll find a store right outside the neighborhood, and which the members of the community, which are in most cases they're, for the most part, they're renters. it reminds me of growing up. Actually, I had a grandmother that lived on Ashby Street in Atlanta, Georgia. And anyone familiar with Atlanta may know about Ashby Street. It's the main strip that rides. It's the main hub where Morehouse College, Clark Atlanta, Spelman, where that sits, West End area. It's the main road that runs from end to end. But my point is, it reminds me of Ashby Street as a kid. You see lots of degenerate activity. You may see, well, actually you may, but you do see trash being thrown on the ground. Throughout the day, you'll see the men in the area should be working, hanging out at one particular yard, mean mugging a few cars that, here and there that drive by. And as a real estate broker, developer, my eyes go directly to this activity. And it bothers me tremendously. Okay, it bothers me. It lets me know the esteem that these people hold for where they live, and it's not high at all. It lets me know that they don't care about where they live. Because you have to ask yourself, if you care about where you live, why don't you keep it up? A lot of people may say, they may excuse it and say, well, these people are poor. And I know the answer to that. And I actually put it into question form on one of my shorts, or actually in a community post. Can poverty and pride exist together? And the answer to that is yes, it can. I recall stories of slaves, of Jim Crow times, whereby the poor black people, poor white people, whatever, they literally swept the dirt. Okay, and they were poor. So I know that it's possible. Okay, and I know, again, with my credentials, I know the outcome of that. And what's happening is those renters, those people who don't take pride in where they live, they're giving off a negative presentation to the world, to people like, myself, people with the same business interest, but not the same, in my opinion, not the same heart. Okay? You have people from other cultures with, greed in mind. They come through and they see that these people don't care about the property. And what happens is these same people, they come through and they have ambitions of developing that property and making it what it should be. There's this idea in real estate that all property should be used at its highest and best potential. Okay? That all property should be used at its highest and best potential. And what happens is you have these developers, these investors that come through and they submit offers to the owners. Okay? They see the potential, and what they do is they see the upward potential. This is where gentrification comes into play. Okay? And what they do is they're cutting deals behind your head. They're cutting deals behind your head. All right? They're basically saying, well, we want to come in And one, we want to beautify this community, and we want to reap the potential. Okay, we want to reap the potential, and we want the control, and just, which is nothing wrong with it, because guess what? These same people, okay, these same people have the potential to do just that. And you probably say, no, these people are poor. But check this out. You have the dope boys in the community. Okay. You have the family members that visit these communities. It may not be the people in the community that can afford it, but community is community. There's power in groups. There's power in, working together, putting your minds together, putting your resources together. And this is where the breakdown that bothers me so much, specifically in the Black community. All right, because you have all these forces that are working against upward mobility, upward growth. Okay, you have the crime. You have you have those that don't want the policing of crime. You have those that throw the trash on the ground. You have those that don't put the time and energy into the presentation of that community. Okay? And then you have those who watch this channel who have free access to the information on how to develop and how to build communities that don't actually tap in. And that's where the frustration comes in, because there's so much that can be done. All right. And then people wonder why we have the Chinese restaurants predominantly in the Black communities, why you have the Middle Easterners, the Indians that come in and purchase these properties specifically in the Black community. All right. Because there's opportunity, because the ecosystem is there. There's a market for it. Without a market, there's no potential. Okay. These same people, we provide the ecosystem for them to thrive rather than taking advantage of that opportunity ourselves. Okay. It's a losing formula. Okay. Which is, it's a losing formula that, it's a problem that easily can be fixed. Okay. These properties, the abandoned properties, the properties that are, hasn't been maintained, that are, vacant. These properties they can be attained in tax sales. There are ways to go about getting these properties for little to nothing. Okay, I get properties that come across my desk in these same areas for $15,000, $20,000. $15,000, $20,000. All right. May require $10,000, $15,000 on top of that purchase to get those properties ready. But that's where, the upward value, the equity after those properties have been, fixed up, provide or have the potential to provide a lifetime of security for those people. Okay. Not only is there equity and financial well-being, but there's also the ability to control where you rest your head and where you live. I did a video the other day, a hypothetical on the topic of, asking the question, if you recently acquired $1 million, would you buy your mom a home for $1 million? Okay, these are extreme examples. Would you buy your mother a home for $1 million, or would you purchase all of those abandoned properties in your community and take control of the ecosystem in the community? All right. This is free game. This is free strategies that are being given out there to those, to anyone who, who value their future, value their financial well-being. All right, and it goes to waste. Almost to the point, it creates the frustration. Almost to the point where, me personally, I want to detach myself from being identified with this group. Okay, it makes me question: is there even a black community? Is there even a black community? All right, is there? And when I say community, I mean a group of people looking to better themselves, sharing a common goal, positive goal. There's no doubt that we, the black community, share negative attributes. Music, crab mentality, false pride, crime, music. There is a culture there, but we have to be honest. It's a lot of negativity. Okay, when the positive comes, is there shared goal? Okay, is there forward movement? All right. I can't help but put this into related to real estate, because there's no way around it. Real estate is the only way that most people will acquire wealth in their lifetime. There's no way around it. That's the problem. Again, the solution would be from experience. Okay? Becoming a real estate developer, becoming a real estate broker requires a few hours of knowledge. But first, it requires even the interest, okay? The interest of even doing that. So one has to make the choice. But at the most, it requires some education, a course, a few months worth of training as it relates to real estate, getting a license, learning the trade there. But there's also certain trades that you can learn. Learn how to frame a house, which is super easy. Again, it just requires the aptitude, the choice, the desire to even do it. Floors. Okay, there are certain things that I wouldn't recommend doing yourself, but this is where you cut corners, or not cut corners, but you outsource those things where you don't feel comfortable, or may not be wise for you to do. But at the least, making a choice, working together with a group of people, networking with a few people who don't, who may know what you don't know. Okay. I'm sure we all know someone with money sitting around, a few thousands of dollars in the bank. Provide a service in exchange for that. We know some people with some credit. It all starts with the choice, people. Without making those decisions, you will be left behind. You will be left at the lowest level of the lowest at the low end of the totem pole. Okay, things are changing rapidly. I studied this. I have a degree in political science. I don't just come to this business with with just ambitions of making money. Of course, I want to take care of myself, but at the same time, I care about where the little man ends up. Okay, but the most I can do is offer the information. It has to be accepted. It has to be latched onto. All right. Share these videos. Let people know that they are about to be left behind. Okay. Some serious choices have to be made if you want to make it going forward. All right. My mentors, the people that I learned from, I know a lot, but again, I'm humble. I know that there's a lot more to learn, even different perspectives, you know, even if you're at the top of the, information totem pole, there's always perspective. There's always different perspectives to know and to learn and to tap into. That's how you continue to grow. Most wealthy people know that there's always more to learn. But the problem I see is at the lowest end of the financial economic totem pole, there's this level of false pride where people think that they know everything. They're not humble enough to acknowledge they don't know. Okay. You have to break yourself down in order to continue going up. Break yourself down. You have to. Okay. Humility, growth. All right. Chop yourself down and acknowledge what you don't know so that you can move forward. And I honestly think that's the biggest challenge. You have the poor falsely putting themselves where they know that they're not. And it's preventing you from moving upward and moving forward. Okay. Acknowledge it now and, tap in before it's too late. I did a campaign about 4 years ago here in Atlanta, Georgia. Own Atlanta Now. It was a model that I put together from my study. I studied, again, political science, politics here in Georgia, Metro Atlanta specifically, in undergrad, early 2000s. I even wrote papers on this specific topic. It wasn't until years later that I ended up getting heavy into real estate, getting my license. And because of what I knew from research, population growth, a lot of the developments that were happening in the city, I knew what was going to take place. So I came up with a business plan, Own Atlanta Now, telling the people that I knew to own property, to buy property before it's too late. And now that you can see that here in Atlanta, Georgia, everyone that I sold houses to around 175, 150, 200, their properties are now valued to whereby they are sitting on equity at very minimum $50,000, $60,000. Okay. And the way real estate works is it's like an escalator. You can walk backwards on the escalator, but that escalator is still going up. Okay. And I say that to say that real estate is not going back down. Okay. It's not going back down. So what is now, you can expect it to continue, either remain where it is or to continue going up. All right. So eventually it's going to get to the point where you have to move away from where you are to where those, to places to where it's almost affordable to live. So start adjusting. Okay. Start adjusting. If you're in the Atlanta area, you're going to have to start going 30, 45 miles out. And unfortunately, you're going to have to figure out ways to earn money. Okay. Or increase your skills where you are and stick it out. All right. I know a lot of people are at the age where it's too late to do that. They don't have the physical strength. They don't have the mental strength and ability to do it. It's almost too late. So I would ask you, I would continue to urge you to tap in and develop yourself and see what it is here that I can offer you from what I know. Okay. I will begin charging for my expertise, knowledge, and experience this year. Okay. I will be putting together packages for coaching, for mentorship, and just general knowledge from a real estate professional. Okay. So go ahead and tap in now, guys, before it's too late. And I wish you all the best. But by all means, please, let's continue to grow together and tap in. All right. Thank you guys again. I enjoyed you, and this should be it for me. See you guys soon. Peace.